How's it going, guys? Jeremiah back here again. Today we're going to be talking about scales and how they play into improv. Now, we're going to be covering a lot of information and we're going to hop right into it, but I want to say that this is going to be a few-part series, hopefully under 3 parts or so, 3 or under, and we're going to be playing them all, of course, on my 94 Fern Gibson mandolin. And so let's go ahead and hop right into some of the scales and some of the music theory behind improv picking. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. Now, we're going to be using the Nashville Number system, as many like to call it, for a lot of our theory teaching. And I'm not going to go into a lot of the advanced stuff because, quite frankly, I am not a music expert. I play mostly by ear, but there's a lot of math in a lot of this music, and it's very simple, so we're going to be explaining some of that here. So, if you know the Nashville Number system, we usually give a major chord a number. And the major chord we're playing out of is going to get the number 1. So in this case, it's going to be G, that's going to be number 1. And then A is 2, B is 3, C is 4, D 5, E 6, and then F is 7. And then it starts back over at 1 again. Now, in these numbers, you're not going to be playing majors for all of them. In every chord, the 6 is going to typically be minor. So E, and then or G, and then E minor. And then sometimes the 2 might be minor. Sometimes the 3 might be a minor or 7. Like that. And then typically the 4, 5, and the 2 are going to be, and the 7 are all going to be majors. So like an example of a song that's in G, and you go to 7, it's usually going to be in F major, and back to G here. And then when you go to the 6, the E, it's usually going to be an E minor. Alright, and so let's talk a little bit about how these numbers can translate to scales. So if we play a G scale, standard type of G scale, you're going to be playing the 1, 2, 3 sharp. I'm sorry, just 3, not 3 sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sharp, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sharp. Because remember, this is 7, the F is 7, 7 sharp. So usually in a major scale, we're going to be playing 7 sharp, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sharp, 1. Okay? And then let's go ahead and translate that to a minor scale. And in the minor scales, you usually are going to be playing the 7s instead of the 7 sharps. And you're going to be playing, all your 3s are going to go to 2 sharps. So usually this would be a 3. We're going to use the B flat note, which is going to be that 2 sharp or the 3 flat. So in the new scale sounds like a little bit faster. So that's how the scales will be affected by major and minor shifts. Now you can use these scales, of course, to improv on a lot of breaks. And as you move around, as your 1 moves, so if we go to A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sharp, 1, and then it's going to repeat. Same thing here. If we move all the 3s back, and we move all the 7 1s back, we get a minor scale. See how that's going from a major scale to a minor scale. Same thing in any other chord you move to. And of course, we're going to be using these scales to compose a lot of our breaks. So let's go ahead and use an example now. The first thing to do whenever you're analyzing a song is to first know the melody line, and that's pretty crucial. Of course, you can fake it if you know the chords, but I think knowing the chords and how long they hold in measures and knowing the melody lines are the two most important things. So let's go ahead and pick a song like Blueridge Cabin Home, which is a standard, and then let's go ahead and pick out the melody line in G. So that's the melody line. So 5 1 3 3 3 5 3 3 2 1 2 1 7 sharp 5 6 6 1 7 sharp 1 2 3 2 1, and you get the point. So we're playing a series of numbers that play around those chords. And so it's going to be the same no matter where we go. So no matter where we go, those bass notes are going to be the same. And then you also need to keep in mind that we're going to be playing let's go back to G here. 1 measure G, 1 measure C, 1 measure D, 1 measure D, 1 measure G again, and then it loops. So whenever we are ending or starting a measure, we're going to want to be on the bass note of that measure. So 1 2 3. Now when we're starting to get a little bit fancier, we're going to be playing basically around this scale. So what I like to do is, if you're playing by ear, I'm going to be playing Blueridge Cabin Home in G, and I'm going to get a little bit more complex in how I play around the scale every time we go. So let's go ahead and do that. So it might be a lot to take in, but everything I did there was really playing around the chords while sticking to key aspects of the melody line. So if we think of the key aspects of the melody line of this song, there's a well-beaten path. So I think this 3 to 5 right here is really important. And so I really emphasize that when I take a break. So like if I was trying to imitate someone like Adam Steffi, I'd go like. So I'm really playing around that G scale, but emphasizing that 2 to 5. Because in the vocal it's really important. There's a well-beaten path. You can't go like, there's a well-beaten path on. You really need that well-beaten path. And that's really crucial in that melody line. So even if I were to do something complicated like and use hammer-ons and couplets here, I'm still going to be playing around this the 3 and the 5, which I think is really crucial. And then the next line, well-beaten path on this old mountainside. I think it's really important to hit like this E note in this case, or that 6th note. And I also think it's really important to hit the 2 note, so right here. So I really emphasize that in a lot of my breaks too. So I might go. Still kind of ending on that E note here. I might even do a slide to that A note because I want to emphasize that again. And then I really like how the next line, where I wandered when I was a lad, I think that 7 sharp, 6, 5 is really important here. So I even emphasize that in a lot of my fancier breaks. And of course, that stuff is all going to stay the same whatever chord you move to. Let's go ahead and go to B. Still emphasizing the. And all I'm doing different here is using licks that I've learned in those specific chords to kind of build around that key melody line. So that's a little bit of how I do my improv and how I consider playing around improv while sticking to the melody line. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you next time here on the channel. Make sure you hit subscribe if you're enjoying these mandolin tutorials, and I'll see you in the next video.